Okay, here we are at the church setup. We've just done an upgrade to the Blackmagic 1ME Production Studio 4K, and you'll see that is right there below our Alesis amplifier. And then below that we have our older Panasonic DVD recorder, and below that we have an Alesis CD recorder with an internal hard drive. The DVD recorder above that that I just mentioned also has a hard drive. And then below that we have a dual cassette deck that's basically obsolete, that we don't really use that much at all, but we have the capability for it. And over here we have a Soundcraft audio board that feeds the audio signal from upstairs down to us here in the video room. And basically we have a board mix, which is basically the audio coming from the soundboard upstairs. And then we have two ambient sound lavalier microphones that are mounted near our stage. So we have a lav left and a lav right. Over here we have a Sony RM BRC 300 controller for our BRC 300 cameras. Upstairs we have 3 standard definition cameras, and that controls those with the joystick and the buttons. Over here we have, and there's a good reflection right now, we have a Dell touchscreen monitor. I got that idea from Ken Brown, who also did an installation at his church. And it was nice to have a touchscreen monitor to be able to change some of the settings with the switcher. Also have a keyboard control too for it if you'd rather use that instead of touching the monitor with your finger. And of course we have a mouse, and then we have a Dell computer that controls the Atem switcher. And on top of that we have a video broadcast unit for sending out our signal to the web, made by Teradek. Let's just jump right in from here and show you how everything looks. Again, we have, and you can see my reflection a little bit, we have a large monitor for our program display and everything. So to turn the system on, we basically come over here, and we have a key switch to turn power to everything. And as you'll see, there's everything powering up, including the Blackmagic switcher. And if we move over to the display over here, you'll see that we have our 3 cameras that show up: camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. In the meantime, I'm going to come over here and turn power onto our Dell computer. And also, coming back to the display here, we also have Media Player 1 and Media Player 2 down at the bottom right hand corner. And of course you have your preview upper left hand corner, program right hand corner. And as basically our system was before, we were using 2 standard definition tube style television sets before we upgraded to this, and we got rid of a data video switcher, and now we're running with the Blackmagic unit. And I'm just going to pause for a second and log into the computer. Okay, when the computer loads up, it automatically loads a copy of the Blackmagic switcher software. I'm just going to move it into a different location here, which seems to be much better. Going to go over some of the aspects of this unit real quick. At the very top we have program with a series of buttons. Shows your cam numbers. Because this unit can support way more cameras than what we have, those camera buttons are still there. but not used. We also have a black button for black color, color bars, media 1 and media 2. And then below we basically have a duplicate of what we just saw, but it's under the preview section. And obviously if you press one of these buttons here, it'll show up on the preview side. If you press one of the buttons down there, it'll show up on the program side. We have a transition setup where you have keys and buttons for on air. Our transition styles where you want to do a mix, a dip, a wipe, a sting, or a DVE. You can also have a button here that shows the preview transition, so you can actually see that in the preview window of what's going to happen before you actually send it to program. We also have a cut button, which will just cut directly to whatever source, right to program, or even an auto button, which sometimes is referred to as a take button, and it tells you the rate, and it's going to basically take 1 second to do the transition there. We have a T-bar, which can be controlled with the mouse or with your finger, as we were saying. We have 2 downstream keys, which allows you to put lower thirds or bugs, which they call them, which is in the upper corner or whatever, showing that you are sending a live signal out. And again, because this is a touchscreen monitor, I can just touch the monitor and drag the T-bar with my finger back and forth, or I can just press buttons here to go right to program or to preview. Same thing, everything is touchscreen. Or if you want, you can quickly move your cameras into preview by using the keyboard, by just using the number of keys. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see how I can quickly move to preview. And if we go up to here, I'll show you the same thing. I'm on 1, I'm pressing button number 2, button number 3, so they all go to preview quickly. You can do a cut with the space bar if you want to use that, or if you want to do an auto or a take, you use the enter key. So for instance, I'll go back up here and show you that's our camera 2 that we're showing, and camera 3 is on program. So if I hit the space bar, it'll do a fast cut and it flips, toggles everything back and forth. If I hit it again, it's just a quick flip from preview to program, and then vice versa. If I want to do the same thing, but I want to use a transition and auto, I can hit the enter key and it'll do the same thing, but it'll do a fade, and you'll see that. I hit enter and it fades from one source to the other. Hit enter again, fades from one source to another. So that's all done through the keyboard, but again, because this is a touchscreen monitor, we can do the same thing by just touching the screen here. And that's basically the setup for here. You also have 3 sections here for your media player, which basically allows you to load in graphics and transitions to be used. Here's your audio board that monitors the audio. For our installation, we're basically just using the XLR inputs, and we're using our master for the output. So, but also I can go back and show you one of the sample graphics that comes with the unit. And I'll just go into photos. And this is just a preview of that photo. It's from the Blackmagic Corporation. And I'll just put a still, drag a still over here, and that loads it up. And then it puts it into media player 1. And if I pick another one and drag it over to position number 2, it'll put it in the media player 2. So there are 2 different photos loaded into our media player. I'll go back to our switcher, and if we come back up to the preview screen, you'll see that now those photos show up in Media Player 1 or Media Player 2. And again, they don't have to be full screen photos. They can be lower thirds or graphics that tell you, who's speaking or what's going on, or even information like going to our website or pledging or anything like that. And then they work the same way. If you click on Media Player 1, and I'm going to do it with the mouse. You'll see the mouse right here. I'm on Media Player 1 under the Preview section. So if I click on that and then come up to here, it'll put me in Preview. And again, I can go from Preview to Program by either hitting the space bar and it's going to do a straight cut, or I can do it with the Enter key and that's going to do a transition. And you'll see when I do the transition, you'll see the actual T-bar move on the screen. And again, if you wanted to do something that was not a linear transition where it kind of goes fast and then slows down or goes really slow, you could grab the T-bar with your finger or the mouse and move it accordingly to the speed that you want. That's a quick rundown of everything that's going on here. There are more advanced features that I'm not going to get into at the moment with downstream keying, but everything else seems to be pretty much the same. Going to the online broadcast, that's done, like I said, with the TerraDeck video, and there's a button right on the front that you can actually start that broadcast. And we'll do more with that when I do some training for everyone. But right now, this is the system of the Blackmagic switcher, software controlled. And again, you're still going to continue using the camera inputs and the joystick. Again, we're on camera input number 2. So if I go up and look at camera number 2 on the unit, I can use the joystick and pan left, right, and down. Again, I'm doing that all with just this joystick here, left, right, down. And then if you twist the top of the joystick area right here, that causes you to zoom in if you twist clockwise. If you twist counterclockwise, that brings you back out again. Okay, so that's the main unit. There's a lot of similarities to what we've always been doing, just that everything now is on one big screen as opposed to before. Coming back over, you still record normally as you do by pressing the record button on the Panasonic recorder. I also think it's a good idea to press the record button on the CD player, whether we're making a CD or not, just so that we can get some volume level meters right here on the unit. And again, you can do the same thing over here and see those volume level units also. There's no reason why you can't go ahead and move this one out of the way. And you can always start another instance of the switcher, and that's why this was way over to the one side, because what I did was change it to the audio section and move that off to my left, and then move this back over so I could still see the audio on this tab and still do the switching units. In the future, we may decide to go with a second monitor, and then you wouldn't have to do that. You could have the audio tab on that second monitor and not have to worry about anything. This was a little bit of a better view, trying to get that light out of the picture. So that's what we have so far. And again, you'll still continue to use your 3 inputs of audio to adjust that accordingly. Again, we also have these are outputs from the DVD recorder, so we can hear the audio from that, CD recorder, and the tape deck. But obviously, while you're doing your recording, you want all these levels down to nothing. You don't want to get any feedback from that. And Not to mention that if anybody doesn't know, we still have a telephone to be able to signal our audio department upstairs in the audio booth. And you can do that by simply taking the phone off the hook, pressing the audio studio button, and then press the call button, and it will flash a light upstairs for them to answer the phone. Coming back to the unit, I forgot to mention this. These buttons here on the front of the Blackmagic unit will allow you to do a preview on this monitor here, just a small little thumbnail monitor of your camera inputs, just to see if everything is working. So you can press any one of those buttons and you'll see the unit without having to have the computer on or anything else, which is kind of nice, but I don't believe we'll be using it that much. You can see your program output, your preview screen. You can have color bars up or whatever, so it has all these buttons on the front just for more diagnostic purposes than anything else. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it for right now. I'll do just a quick little demonstration here of the video unit. When you want to start a broadcast, you're going to press the red button, and it's going to ask you, do you want to start a broadcast? And it's actually a little bit of a joystick too, so you can press to your left or to your right and to move the highlight for selecting what you want to do. So right now it says start a broadcast. It's on no. If you move it to the right, it'll go to yes, and if you press it in, that'll say yes, and it'll start doing a broadcast for you. So let's go ahead and just do that. And you'll notice when we actually are broadcasting and when it's ready to go, there will be a blue light under the cloud symbol. So let's go ahead and say yes. And so it's starting and it's saying that it's live. So right now we're actually broadcasting what's on our program monitor, which, if I come back up again, everything that's recorded or broadcast is always under program. So that's what we're seeing right there. So right now we're broadcasting, and to stop the broadcast, you press the button again. It says, do you want to stop broadcast? Click it to the right, click again, and it's going to take it offline. You'll see that the blue light is now not on under the cloud symbol to show that we're not broadcasting anymore. So again, we have a Dell computer, Dell touchscreen monitor for the operation of the Blackmagic 1ME production switcher 4K. And again, just to let people know, we're still only doing this in standard definition. Someday we hope to upgrade our cameras to high definition, but in the meantime we did an upgrade to a failing data video switcher so that we can get ready for high definition in the future. We're about 3/4 of the way there, maybe even a little bit more than that. And so that's it.